Welcome to another episode of Bad Girl Gone Good podcast. It's your host, Visionary A. Let's tap in. So today we have a very, very special guest. Her name is Chef Nia. She has been a longtime client and friend of mine. And she is an educator here in Chicago and CEO of Green Bites Eatery, where she cooks, creates, and delivers vegan meals. Okay. She is one of the most amazing creators of the times that I know. And so it is an honor and a pleasure to do this interview. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me. I'm so glad to be here.
I am so glad you were able to make it. I'm so glad you agreed to do the interview.
Of course.
Because I have been, of course, observing your success for the past, I don't know how long. Okay, so first of all, I just want to get from you a bit of your background and your profession and what has led to your current success.
So background, a little bit of the backstory. So back in 2015, I was in a car accident. I broke my neck. And that's actually what led me to veganism. Like, had it not been for that situation, I don't know, like, who knows where I would have been. But that situation, my alternative to medicine was food. I started really learning about the food we eat and looking at, how the food gets to our plates. And that's when I kind of really started opening my eyes, like, okay, I got to make changes. I got to, really hone in on this if I want to live a healthier life without relying on medicine.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, I cut out meat, and then I ended up learning how to substitute cheeses and milk, my favorites. That's the hard part.
Mm-hmm.
So once I got that down pat, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm vegan. And the more I started posting, people started asking to buy plates. And I'm like, yeah, I really want this. Like, okay. And then COVID hit, and that's when I'm like, man, we don't have very many healthy alternatives in the hood. Like, where can we get some good vegan food or good vegetarian food? Like, the options were very, very limited at the time. So I was just like, well, if not me, then who? So that just catapulted. And next thing I know, I was doing festivals and like catering orders. And I'm just like, all right, this is a real thing. Like, I need to tighten up and really like hone in on this skill and make it a business and make it a brand and really grow it. And from there, we just been growing.
Yes, congratulations. Congratulations.
You. Thanks.
So just to let you guys know, Chef Nia is my vegan chef. Yep. I have been eating with her for years.
Yep.
And when people ask about vegan chefs, that is who I send them to.
Yep.
Just, let you guys know this is my chef.
Yeah.
So we have to talk about it. Blair oats.
Yes. Oh, man, Blair oats. I came up with it. It was crazy. My dad, actually, I was picking him up from work on Fridays, and he would go to Harold's every Fridays. And I'm just like, I can make this. And I ended up seeing, like, the mild sauce, because I don't know if y'all know, but I'm going to give y'all a little tidbit. That little Harold's sauce that they sell in the stores with the Harold's label is not the real Harold's mild sauce. It's different. If you know, you know. Okay. So once I figured that out, and then I already was just a real big fan of oyster mushroom, which that's what I use as my chicken replacement. So I'm like, man, you fry that up right, put the sauce on it. Let me see. So I went home one Friday, made it, and then I posted it. And of course, everybody was going crazy hard in the story. Like, yeah, when you putting this on the menu? I'm like, okay, y'all want this one. And when I dropped it, it just went crazy. Like, it got to the point where I'm like, I got to sell this every Friday. Like, everybody want this. And it just started going crazy. And now that's definitely a staple on the menu. Blair oats. So make sure y'all come get y'all Blair oats, okay?
So when you in Chicago and you are vegan, you have transitioned and you want some good old fried with fries, mild sauce, or hot sauce. I'm a hot sauce kind of girl.
Right.
So
I need both too.
salt, pepper with the fries, hood food, but you want it vegan and you want it, clean, you grease clean, all of that good stuff. You gotta go to Green Bites.
You got to.
You have to go.
It's the only place you can get it.
Period. Okay. Now, I know that you are an educator. That kind of culture has been like your foundation, like dealing with the kids, being in the community and all of that stuff, along with your eatery business. Now, but we also know that you are a divine mother.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Mamiana 101.
Yes.
Now, I just want to know from your perspective, how has balancing your career with your business affected your motherhood? How has that been for you?
Oh man. It's been eye-opening. And I say that because you're really only as strong as your village. Like, I would be nothing without the people that support me, because it's like, how? Like how do you juggle all of that? Motherhood ultimately comes first, but all of the other hats that we wear as women take so much out of us. Like, you gotta have community behind you to be successful at those things. And it's just like, that was really, really like eye-opening for me. But being able to balance it and maintain it, I think it just comes from, one, eating healthier, because I'm able to sustain myself better, energy, get sick less. So I can be in position to do all those things. So it's like, that's a big part of it, just taking care of myself, getting rest when I can. It's a lot that goes into juggling so many different things. And I think the most important thing is keeping your community, baby, by your side, and just taking care of yourself first. Because if you don't take care of you, you can't do none of the other stuff. So it's been a game changer trying to do it all. But the fact that I do have support around me, the fact that I do, I'm in the right mind space. I'm in a healthier place with my body, mentally and physically. I'm able to manage. But it's a lot. It's a lot. So,
well, that's a good perspective to have. And you highlighted community, because that's very important.
So important.
Now, we come from inner city. We grew up with specific types of ideals, traditions, cultures. And now that we're parents, things have totally changed.
Yes.
The type of community that we engage with, the ones that we choose to have. Even just with the change in our diets, like, that's so different from our from our
parents.
Yeah,
it is.
So how has that affected you? The transition from what you came from, like what your parents taught you, what you came from, and then just totally switching up.
It's made me better. It's one of those situations where I want to be better than the last generation, Like, the goal is always to get better. My father always told me, I want you to be better than me, So, yeah, if you know better, you do better type of thing. Like, okay, y'all might have fed us hot dogs and pork and beans as our struggle meals, but I'm not doing that for my son. I know better now. I'm going to do better. So it's like, it made me better. Like, if it affected me in any way, it's been positive for sure, because now my son's vegan, so now he's on a different wave than what I grew up on. My grandmother just recently passed from cancer, and just that whole battle, I'm just talking to her, telling her, Mom, you got to change how you eat. Even before the cancer got to where it was, Mom, you got to stop eating the pork ribs. Mom, you got to put the bacon down. Mom, you got to, and it just goes to show why that is so important. Like, how you treat your body, that's pivotal for your future. Like,
absolutely.
So it to be the one in my family that's really honed in on this and that's really taking it and pushing the bar with it, it's nothing but positivity that's gonna come from it.
Absolutely. Standing on business.
That's the one.
Because sometimes we get to learn certain things and we don't like follow through on it.
Yeah.
Some of us have different curses to break within our families. You know, some people have to do the vegan thing, whether we change, well, how we changing our diets. You know, some of us have to deal with people and relationships different. But what I do think is, I think it all is intertwined. You know, I think we all face a lot of the same things. We all have a lot of the similar duties. And I just commend those individuals who take the changes as the universe presents them to us, you know, seriously, and, you know, get on what it is that they're supposed to be doing to give back to themselves, to give back to their own bloodline and their own name. So, you know, the generations after us can, you know, benefit from that.
Exactly.
So for me, when I first started my transition, being vegan now, let me say this. I have a 7-year-old who is just not with it. You know, like, that is so hard.
It is hard.
That
the transition to babies is harder than us.
It's so hard. When I got to learn about, so I learned about veganism and herbalism, and it just became such a whirlwind because I'm in the medical industry.
Yeah.
And basically, I'm smack dab in the middle of school and work, and I'm just like, oh, this is backwards. You know what I'm saying? So I had some identity issues, I would say. You know, like, how do I balance wanting to help in this field, and I've like put all of this energy, time, and I'm learning so much from it, but also being able to recognize
it's a setup.
Yeah. You know, I've been doing it for so long, but that also caused me to have to take hiatuses so I can like go back and ground with myself.
You have to.
So I won't be going against the grain, you know, against God's grain, you know. So I had to find a healthy medium of, you know, I had to hone in on my true purpose and my own lane, you know. So one of the things that I faced that was probably harder than that, like in my work life, was how my family view my transition. So all of the stuff that I'm learning, all of this stuff that I'm doing and trying to incorporate in my life, not only just food, but just my entire lifestyle.
Everything.
You know, it was hard for because I come from a big family. It was hard for my immediate family to take it serious, to take you serious. So those were some of the things that I had to deal with as far as, you know, just growing, healing, and evolving. Yeah, up until this point. Now I'm 10 toes down, and everything that I do, don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect. Sometimes, you know, I slip up in certain kind of areas, but for the most part, I have control over the trajectory of where I want my life to go and where I want my children to go, because they are more important than anything, you know. So with that, with the family thing, what has that brought out of you? Because for me, it brought out the lioness in me.
Yeah.
You know, it brought out things that I probably wanted to repress a lot, didn't want to visit. So that was actually me doing some shadow work, you know, being able to bring out those fierce parts of me that probably were like silence as, you know, we growing up and all of that stuff, you know. So for me, it brought out the lioness in me. How has that been for you with your own, like, you know, your own little family as compared to, you know, the big...
My family.
Yeah.
The same. Because so even going back when I was in college before the accident, I was actually pursuing a career in pharmacy. I was working at the hospital in pharmacy at the time, and I was getting ready to become a pharmacist. So I was, you know, taking classes, preparing myself for that. And then when I came home after I healed up from the accident, I was working at University of Chicago in their pharmacy. So I was really, pursuing this. This was what I was about to do. So when I stopped and got to the point where I'm like, yeah, this ain't it. I'm passing out medicine in this hospital. All my patients look like me. They coming back every week. They got the same issues. Nothing's being healed. Nothing's changing. You giving bacon on the hospital menu. It's burgers in the cafeteria, chicken fingers. And I'm just looking, everybody's still sick. Everybody got the same issues. We steady sending these same people out with these same medications. They coming back, so nothing's changing. And it just was an eye-opener for me. And I'm just like, this ain't it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I got to the point where I'm like, okay, this is set up.
Yeah.
I got to get out the trap. Like, I'm in the rat race and I got to get out. And at that point, I think my family thought I was crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I think they really thought, like, she's losing. I'm like, yo, the drugs are killing us. Y'all need to stop taking this. Y'all need to stop doing this. And then when I gave up meat, they like, oh, yeah,
she really done lost it.
They thought it was a joke at first. They and it happened, just so happened that I gave up meat right before Thanksgiving. So everybody like, yeah, all right, let's see if you stick with it. Okay. And then they looked up and I was a month in. And they looked up, I'm 2, I'm 3. Now I'm vegan. It ain't funny no more. So it really brought out, like you said, the lioness, like, don't play with me because I'm serious. And then when I had my son, I was deep in it by that point. And I had been just steady researching, doing my homework, because that's the key to any of it. Do your own research.
Mm-hmm.
People can tell you whatever they want you to know or whatever they want to tell you, but the information is out there.
Absolutely.
Go seek it for yourself. And when I started doing that, my son, like you said, that's number one. That's priority number one. Nothing is more important to him. So I'm researching now vaccines, this and that, and the baby food formula. I'm on it, right? So I'm like, oh, we not vaccinating. Right. Now I'm batshit crazy. Like,
oh, yeah.
Like, no,
oh, yeah.
You got this. And he's going to be vegan. So it just really I had to stand on it with my family because, my mother, they mean well, but they come from, this is what they knew.
Absolutely.
So my new ideas and identity frightened them more than anything.
Right.
So I had to really I said what I said. This is my baby. Y'all had y'all chance. Y'all did what y'all felt was best. And now this is my turn. And even then with doctors, they coming in, hepatitis B and this and that is best for him and this and that. I said what I said. So it just makes you stronger. You got to be vocal. And you, like you said, you got to stand on business.
So it's so funny that you brought up all of those things because I'm a healthcare professional.
Mm-hmm.
Disclaimer. And I do not get vaccinated. Mm-hmm. I do not vaccinate my children, right? And so my colleagues,
everybody think you crazy.
And then I got a lot of medical family members, who are in medicine and all of that stuff, right? So with me being in my profession and with my family and coworkers on the floor, all of this stuff, the conversations come around. Your managers come around, hey, you going to take this vaccine? No. Mm-hmm. Now they got to the point where they like, don't even ask her.
Literally.
I still comply with, the checkups and all of that, with the kids and everything. So when the doctors come in like, hey, are you going to get the, the vaccine? And it's like, no. And it was funny because, like I said, my family members are medical professionals. And so, you got your little hub of how you move around, getting certain stuff. And where I take my children, they know me, right? They know me very well. I try not to tote that I'm a nurse when I go into places.
Yeah.
But sometimes I have to.
Right.
Now, funny story. I was sitting there. I had my youngest daughter. She was getting her checkup. They come through with all the questions. It was actually a new doctor. It was a resident that was coming to do this assessment and ask me, do I want these vaccines? I think I was in a period of fasting.
Okay.
And so everything was clear. Everything was keen. And I'm like, my energy level was like on 1,000.
Yeah.
So the conversation was so awkward. She's like, so are you going to get her vaccinated? the same thing came up was the hepatitis B. And I never was disrespectful, but everything that she asked me, I just posed another question. I said, you know, when was the last time that you see an infant this size get Hep B?
Exactly.
You know, or it was just every single thing. So I actually posed her questions. And by the time we got done, you know, with that, she was just like, you know what? I don't even know. I'm going to go sit with myself and I'm going to go answer these questions for myself. And I'm like, thank you.
Literally,
you know, I know all these answers, but I want you to go and look because you know, you coming out of your schooling era, you just doing your job.
Yeah.
But you also have to understand when you are dealing with parents who are educated as well.
Absolutely.
I'm in compliance with, you know, just making sure my kids are healthy and getting everything that they need.
Right.
But I also take accountability for their health, you know, and with us changing the diets and we don't do, my kids call it the piggy bacon. Oh, my mom won't let us eat piggy bacon and all that stuff. They go hard with that. And I had to pose those questions to the healthcare professionals as well, because I'm like, all of the stuff that you are trying to, quote unquote, protect our children from with a lot of these things
is coming from the food.
What if they're not going to face those same types of statistics when their diet is different.
Exactly.
And it's just that simple. Not to say that certain things can't happen, whatever.
Right.
But we're talking about the likelihood of those things happening. And so I had to stand 10 toes down with myself, with family, with my coworkers, with colleagues, everything. And so that has totally made me a better person, a better healthcare professional, because it has made me more culturally competent for myself. Now, when we're in a healthcare professional, or a lot of professions, not just healthcare, we have to be culturally competent. We have to be able to understand things from different perspectives when we talking to and dealing with all different types of cultures.
Right.
And specifically in healthcare, they make sure that nurses are culturally competent.
Yeah.
As we're giving care and all of that. And recently, I had some interactions with some colleagues of different cultures. It was around Ramadan or whatever. I'm very respectful of everything because I understand the spiritual aspects of so many different practices. But during that time, I was sitting with myself at work and I was just like, when have any of these individuals tried to become culturally competent of the Black woman? Does anyone, you know, take their time out to try to see things from our perspective? You know? So that was an aha moment for myself to continue to keep going on of how I'm going about handling my business, standing up for myself in a respectable way for myself.
Right.
You know, because a lot of the times we put others ahead of our own stuff because that was in our culture.
Yeah.
But now we like, nah.
We got voices now. Saying loud and proud.
We clearing out them throat chakras.
Yeah.
We doing this shadow work of healing and paying attention to what type of things caused us to be silent.
Yes.
And all of those things. So that has definitely made me a better person.
For sure.
Being able to stand on my lioness hood and not be afraid of myself.
Yeah. As it gets scary. Becoming a new you is scary. If change were easy, everybody would do it.
Agreed.
Like, it's hard.
You said something so vital, so important that if change was easy, everybody would do it. I am a culprit of change. I'm always, first of all, I'm Gemini. I already got two sides.
Right.
So I'm always seeing things from two perspectives, sometimes four perspectives.
Right.
And I'm always looking to progress. I'm always looking to be better. And that is probably why we connect on a frequency that we connect on, because that's a frequency. That is an energy.
Right.
To be pulled out of the culture that everybody is used to, and then you can be able to identify your tribe.
Right.
So I've had a problem during my little time of progression and change of being able to accept the fact that change is hard. So everybody not going to change with you. Everybody not looking to change.
And that's like you said, you got to accept it. You just have to, it's one of those hard pills to swallow that you just got to swallow, because everybody not going to vibrate on the same frequency that you on. And like I told my grandmother, everybody can't go. And that's the one. It's going to always be people that we love dearly that we got to leave behind. Everybody, it's almost like the saying, I freed 1,000 slaves. I could have freed 1,000 more if only they knew they were slaves. If you don't know you in bondage, be that physically or mentally, if you don't know you stuck somewhere, I can lead you to the water, but I can't make you drink. That's how it is with the veganism in my family. I can tell y'all all day long, pork is bad. I can tell you all day long, beef and chicken is a level 1 carcinogenic. But if you gonna still eat it, you gonna still eat it. I can't get, y'all not listening. Hey, you know, everybody is not going to do it. They're not going to resonate with you. They're not going to see it. They're not going to do the shadow work. They're not going to, you can't want it for somebody more than you want it. They want it for themselves. And it's just a hard pill.
That is.
Yep.
Now, outside of these grown people that ain't going to change, let's get back to the kids.
Mm-hmm.
How did you go about helping your son transition into veganism?
He started, and I think that's the part. When you, it's harder to transition kids than it is adults, because as adults, we know when we get to that point where we're like, oh, we're about to make some health changes. I'm about to start eating like this, is you pretty much, your why is whatever it is, be it health or you're aware of how food is making it to our plate or whatever. Kids don't, they see their kids eating a McDouble, they want a McDouble. They see nuggets, they like, you know, they don't get it. So it's way harder for them. And then a lot of the foods are genetically modified to make you crave them. So if I want chicken nuggets, Mom want chicken nuggets, because they got these chemicals in here that's telling me I want these chicken nuggets from McDonald's.
Right.
Them Flamin' Hots, Ma, they hit different. Like, so it's harder to get there. You darn near have to detox them. Like, so my baby, he didn't get introduced to any of that. So it's easier.
Okay.
When I got pregnant with him, I already wasn't eating meat. So when he started eating, I started as a baby, he was eating avocados. I was pressing fruits and all that while he was an infant. So he never got a chance to get hooked on those things. So by the time he was 1, he had a palate like
that's
out of this world. He was eating broccoli and cauliflower, and like he was eating a lot of plants and herbs at a very, very early age. So it was easier doing it that way.
Okay.
Doing it that way. So if I could encourage anybody to do anything, start them as soon as you have them.
Yeah.
Start them as soon as you have them, because you're going to have a harder time with the babies than yourself.
Agreed.
Yep.
Agreed. That's definitely amazing. I was the same way with my youngest daughter. So I know the differences.
Yeah, you see it firsthand, like, okay.
With the food and with the vaccines. I see a total difference in Yeah, for sure. And now that we have changed a lot, especially those vaccines, I see so much difference in their development.
Yeah.
Their interaction, their language, everything, especially with my oldest daughter, because she was vaccinated, and I had this weird thing when she probably was like 2 or something, was when I got her last vaccine. She's 7 now.
Okay.
And when children don't speak, they still speak. They speak at a spiritual level. They speak at an energetic level. Yeah. And the very last time I got her vaccines, I took her, got the vaccines. They in pain after.
Yeah.
I put her in the car and I put on her seatbelt, and her spirit spoke to me and was like, why did you do that? And I seen it.
Just all in her face.
I saw it, and I was just like, okay, God, You ain't got it. That was it. That was it for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because she did have issues with language.
Mm-hmm.
She had to have a speech therapist. All of those things, like I had to dive into. But I was like, I'm a warrior. I done been, as far as parenthood and all of the things that I've had to face previously. So I was like, okay, I see what's up. Like it's a war on that. And it's a war on me becoming a statistic through me giving up or me feeling like I have to be at a disadvantage. Like I see what happened and we gonna handle this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I encouraged myself. And needless to say, she definitely tested out of speech therapy. She no longer needs that. She loved her speech therapist, by the way. And when she wouldn't, like when she was testing out, she like, I don't want to end it. Like I want to stay. We like, no, they're not going to pay for you to go. And I'm not paying for you to see someone who you don't need to see.
Right.
So that was amazing for me because, and I always posted her progress on like social media. And I would have so many moms reach out to me and be like, thank you so much because I felt so bad, or I thought something was wrong with my baby, or I felt bad that they had to have a IEP, all of these things.
Yeah.
And I just utilized what I knew I was going to get through, what I knew my daughter was going to get through, to encourage people to utilize the services that they have set up once they put you in a trap.
Yeah.
But elevate, above that trap.
Not to stay there, stay dependent.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed the difference with my youngest daughter. Mm-hmm. No vaccines. My family looked at me crazy, all of that stuff. But her language,
thriving.
Her thought process, when I say her vocabulary.
Grown woman. What a lady.
It is amazing.
Dang.
And with them being like a couple of years apart, they help each other. Just the way that they communicate. And I see the difference. So I'm not here to tell anybody what to do. I'm just a healthcare professional who sees both sides of everything. And I'm just letting you guys know what choices that I made that have given me and my children a better quality of life.
That part. Part. Yeah.
Outside of what, auntie, grandmama and them used to do. You done ate pork your whole life. It ain't killed you, but it's killing you.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you see your ankles?
Literally. And it's always the big bag people telling we all die anyway. Yeah, but you going first.
And then and not only are you going first, but you're making everybody around you pay. Yeah. Because as you get older and you get sicker.
Who got to take care of you?
Taking care of you.
My grandmother. And she would say things like, I don't know what I did to deserve this. And I'm like, you want me to listen or you looking for an answer? Like, because mama.
Right.
Like, sis, I told you about all it, like, it's everything from the food. You have to be cognitive of everything now. In 2024, they trying to kill us from every angle. The food, the clothes, the chemicals in the laundry detergent, the fragrances. Like, you have to be mindful of all of that. You have to actively be making changes and preventative. A lot of the things that Black people are dying from could be prevented. Like, so
absolutely.
You just gotta be,
willing to be educated.
That's it.
Don't come shoot the messenger, is what they would say. All right. So with the businesses, with the veganism, with it just blooming and blossoming, and so many more people want to try veganism. Before I ask you that, I went to a vegan fest. I go to vegan fest.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, it was so many people.
You talking about Vegan Dale when they had
Vegan Dale. Right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I know all these people ain't
It was
vegans.
a lot of Black people last year.
Yeah.
Robbery, they know. They got Ross the Boss on the scene and the Black people came out. And it's a beautiful thing.
It is.
It's a beautiful thing.
It was. The only thing I was mad about because I couldn't go to my favorite places.
Right.
Yeah, because I'm like,
lines was long.
Come on, y'all. But that's funny. Okay. Now back to what I was gonna ask you with the booming business.
Mm-hmm.
and just everything that's, coming up with all the technology and the information era, because like you said, the information is out there about everything.
It is.
We got the chat GPT, We have so many apps. We have all different kind of marketing and all of that. How could you see yourself implementing some of this technology to advance your business?
Well, the thing about technology is if you don't get with it, you'll get lost. I'm not tech savvy at all.
Okay.
I'm an old lady. When it comes to technology, I have a love-hate relationship for it. If you give me back my razor, and I know where it's at. I'll be good with that. I'm just trying to call, text. I don't really
Someone can hang up like this.
That's it. Because baby, my razor was it. Okay, so I don't really need all of that. I got an Apple Watch on that ain't never been hooked up. And my grandma gave it to me. Like I'm not into technology like that, but as a businesswoman, I understand where we're headed, and I'm not gonna get left behind. I'm gonna get with it as much as I need to. For my particular industry, the food industry, Uber Eats is big. The delivery platform. So having to incorporate that type of technology, that's pivotal for me. But also too, knowing how to and making good use of social media is important. I often ride around the city just looking at different businesses. I don't know if you're familiar with That's a Burger on Stony Island.
Yeah.
But I'm from over east. So I watched them go from 71st and they were on 71st and Merrill or something in a little small little place. And then they, word of mouth was carrying them. It still is because they not really active on social media. But I just often look at these businesses and look like how much bigger you could be if only you leverage the power of social media.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing. I'm just now getting into a kitchen, but I make noise because of social media. So it's that's big for me. That's how I'm definitely gonna always stick with the trends, keep up with what's going on, be in the know as far as social media goes and whatever new technology. Like you said, Chat GPT, I was so reluctant because first of all, they pushing us. It's funny to me how all of these AI apps just flooded out of nowhere. It was we got kind of an introduction to it from Meta or Facebook. We got an introduction, and all of a sudden, all the rich people dropped their apps, and it was just where did this come from? And I was reluctant to use it, but you can literally get rich off that. I can go put a prompt in and get what I need in a matter of in a matter of seconds. So it's take it with a grain of salt, like anything, but if you plan on being successful, if you plan on being pivotal in your industry, if you plan on getting ahead, you got to know it. You got to know it.
And I like that because you are aware of where you at with it.
Yeah.
You know your relationship with it. And that's important.
Don't let it use you.
Absolutely.
It's a tool. It's a tool. Else, like money, it's a tool.
Yeah.
It's a resource.
And so with you being the CEO of your company, it's important to know where you lie with certain kind of things such as technology, social media, but also knowing where we're going to put our future generations in the means of education.
Yeah.
Showing them what it is that they need, how they need to transition, because they're not getting that. Some kids are. Some kids who are in, the STEM education systems and all of that stuff. But making use of, because the kids like to be on a computer anyway. They like to be on a phone, but making use of the time that we have with them. They about to go into summer. So making sure they're getting programs such as learning how to use certain AI technology, how to use certain apps, because, when they get a certain age, we can put them on payroll.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what's better than a little bitty computer kid knowing how to utilize all of this information, and by the time they get into it and learning all of these things, they're going to be like, hey, this is what's popping, blah, blah, blah. While we still in the back being visionaries, and executing the work that we have to do. They have their place, and they know how to move forward and help us, and we know how to help each other. So that's very important, being able to set our children up for the future.
Yep, for sure.
So yes, lastly, what's next for you on your journey?
So grand opening is May 25th.
What? This is my first time hearing that. I'm so glad to get that part.
So yes, the grand opening is May 25th. We're at 2537 South Wabash.
Okay.
Yes. So be sure to join us. Yes. So that is just really kind of getting in my rhythm and finding my footing with that. Because now going from selling plates every Friday and doing catering, as the orders came in, to being open daily, that's a jump. So, that's a big one. So I'm just going to be working on getting my footing. Like I said, using my tools, social media, networking with the right people, the right influencers coming out, putting eyes on us, getting more bookings. I just did WGN. So thank you. So yeah, so just keeping the motion going. The momentum is high right now. So just really sticking it with that and honing in on my skills, dropping new items, just going and growing.
So address the audience and let them know about Green Bites, because they have to know the name, they have to know how to find you, and they need to know this new location. Let the people know.
So you guys can find Green Bites at 2537 South Wabash. We will be open Saturday, May 25th, our grand opening is going to be from 1 to 5 p.m. You can find us on the web at greenbiteschicago.com. You can check us out on socials. Facebook is Green Bites. TikTok is Green Bites by Nia. That's BYNY. Our new Instagram, because we got hacked. Speaking of technology, we got hacked. So our new Instagram is Green Bites by Nia with an underscore. So yeah, all of those places you'll be able to find all of our information. Keep up with us. Make sure you join our mailing list so that you can keep up with what's happening, what's new, what events we'll be doing. We got festivals. It's festival season coming up. We'll be at Vegandale. We haven't secured our roster for the summer, but like I said, we're going and we're growing. So you can catch us around the city.
And there we have it, folks. There we have it.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Bad Girl Gone Good podcast. Okay, this was an amazing interview. I'm so thankful to have you. Thank you.
Yes.
So get comfortable. Tune in to our evolution.
Yes.
Because we just got here. Peace. If you enjoyed this episode and you're interested in healing services, any products, collaborations, or just simple consultations, visit thespiritualhealingcompany.com.